Who is FX WIZY? Yeah, that's a pretty good question, fam. And I believe 98% of you guys are watching me here on the YouTube, but yeah, I don't know exactly who is me, right? So, and I actually want to use this opportunity, guys, to actually connect with you on a deeper level, not only for us, guys. So, I want you guys to actually understand me as a human being. How was it as growing up from a kid to who I am today. And then maybe I'm actually gonna inspire someone out there, guys, because I believe a story repeats itself, right? So, and whatever that's I'm going through, whatever I went through, there's someone who's actually in the same shoes that I was in, right? So, yeah. And as a story of me growing up, my story is very complicated, but I'm actually gonna try my best, guys, to actually explain to you so that you can understand a little bit about myself, right? So, I'm actually originally from DRC, right? So I was born in a place called Malinde, is in the south side of Congo. We call it Sud Kivu, right? So in Fizi to be precise, So and as a growing up, as a like when I was born and my father actually had a clinic, right? He actually owns clinic and uh, uh, three big pharmacies, right? So he was well known and he was actually doing good for his life, right? So and the place where I'm from, the place where I'm from is the place where is actually affected by the war. So by the time I was a kid, I was a very little kid. The war started, right? The war started, and it actually affected everything, and they was actually killing, destroying things, and we was actually, and my father, my family was actually affected by that. So we had my family, my father and my mother had no choice but to run and seek for a refugee in a neighboring country. So that time we actually my parents ran into in a camp called Nyarugusu in Tanzania, right? So we actually went there. I was maybe 1 years old at that time, and by the time we went to a refugee camp in Tanzania, so that's where I pretty much grew up. So I grew up in that camp. So till I was 6 years old, right? So that's when. Because my father was actually waiting for the war to finish or to end in back home so that he can actually go back and continue with his businesses and stuff. But they war was not seems to end anytime soon. You understand? And but it was at the point where he actually felt like no, he doesn't want to be in a refugee camp anymore because if you know the refugee camp, guys, and then you know what is happening, the refugee camp is very worse. The lifestyle, is actually worse. Because it's actually like there's no proper thing, you guys. So yeah, and when I was 6 years old, that's when my father decided to actually like go back, right? So he actually told my mama to go back, but my mother didn't want to go due to the situation. Like even my grandmother, you know, yeah. So, but my father actually took me and my sister, right? So another sister of mine. I have three sisters, right? I had three sisters, but he actually took me and one sister of mine, right? The others left in a refugee camp. So he took us back in DRC Congo. So I actually started like going to school back there, and he actually actually reopened his clinic and a pharmacy regardless of what is happening, because he had nothing to do because that's the only thing he could do at that time. Yeah, so he was actually taking care of me and my sister. Everything was just perfect, paying for our school fees and everything. And he actually transferred us in another province, right, to actually study. You understand? So everything was just fine. And but that time it was 2000, 2011, 2013, right? 2013. My uncle, right? My uncle, my mother brother, he was also in a refugee camp, but he had to go back to Congo also to actually study, right? So he actually went in another province called Uvira. So he was there to study. So my father and my grandmother also went to the moved from a refuge camp to there. to Uvira, to that province, right? So, and also I had my mother also is gonna go there and visit them. So what happened is my father actually took us because we was in this province, Fizi, and then he actually sent me there so that I can go and study there for a better education. He believed that. So I actually went there and actually met with my grandmother, my uncle, from the camp, so everything was just perfect. And but my father was actually doing everything to actually for me, you understand? So he was actually a good guy, rest in peace. And what happened is in 2014, right? In 2014, I lost my father, right? He passed, right? So mind you, my father had three wives, right? So two, those ones, the ones he was staying with, and then the other one is my mother who actually left in the refugee camp, and where my mother was actually get married, like a story goes. And yeah, but I couldn't get access to what happened, like to what he had left, like the pharmacies, the clinics, everything. So yeah, so and by that time, my life just became worse. My life became worse. My grandmother went back to the camp, and my mother left, and it was only left to me, my sister, me and my uncle, yeah, and my little sisters, right? My little sister and my little brother. So we was the only one left, due to school. You understand? So, but by the time we was going to school, and my father was actually supporting and was getting support, but it was a time where life has just become difficult because we don't have anything. Like we in a country, we don't have a house, we don't have anything, and we can't afford a school anymore. So we actually had no choice but to go back to refugee camp, all of us, understand? So we had to actually close work 8 hours, and we left the country, Congo, and we went to Tanzania in a refugee camp called the Nyarugusu. So we went in the Nyarugusu. Mind you, I actually left earlier, right? So I lost my refugee status. I lost my refugee status, so I can't receive any treatment. I can't get food. I can't get anything, right? So, but my uncle who actually left recently, and my little sister, right, and my grandmother, they actually still have their refugee status. So likely we could get some food and we could eat and we could live, but life was not good at all. Okay, life was not good in the camp in the Nyarugusu at that time because the camp actually moved from Lugufu to Nyarugusu. So I was actually there, but again, life was not it. And in me, I was actually feeling, I had that feelings like I'm actually gonna be someone in this life. And I refuse. I used to tell myself, no, I wanna be someone before 20 years old. You know what I mean? So I always tell myself so. But that time I was 16 years old. And I started like comparing myself. I'm watching people like Justin Bieber because I love music. I loved music. I wanted to be an artist back then. My favorite musician was Justin Bieber, Diamond Platinums, and Akon at that time. So I wanted to actually like I love the tune, and I wanted to actually be like them. You understand? But the problem was language. I was not understanding English, but I could just like kind of sing with them, read lyrics and stuff like that. Um, so by that time, and life has started getting worse in the camp. I'm not gonna lie, it's getting worse. My mother came to visit us. He actually came, and life has just become horrible, guys. We couldn't afford anything, and my mother didn't have like a refugee. He lost his refugee status, and me, I lost my refugee status. So we was all depending on uh few people food, right? So when my sister, my uncle, and my grandmother get the food, and we all gonna uh, use that food, you understand? So the food is not enough in the refugee camp, and there's nothing, life, you get my point, right? If you've been in a refugee camp, or if you know any story, So life was not that easy. So and then this time I was with my mother, and I told my mother like, Mom, man, I'm just tired like of this life. When we are not living as a human being at all, and me, I'm tired. I don't want to be here. So my mother was asking me like, where are you gonna go? Where are you gonna go, son? Like, you know, and honestly, I didn't know anything. I didn't know too much where I'm gonna go. But what I knew, like, I'm gonna be somewhere, and I know I'm gonna go somewhere, and I'm gonna be fine. I'm gonna be rich. I'm gonna get money. That's what I knew. That's always in my mind. And then it was this time, and by the time I was about to turn 17, and then I went to my mom and I told her, Mom, this is enough now. I'm not going to be here. I'm done. Just go to authorities. They must give me papers to to go anywhere in the world, anywhere I'm going to go. So my mother actually went to the authorities, and they actually make papers for me, and as a refugee, as a refugee, right? Because I lost my refugee status, so I needed like a kind of a paper that I'm actually going to go with to actually seek for a refuge in another place, where I'm going to seek asylum seeker to another place where I'm going to be treated. So they actually processed it. I waited like 2 months, actually got my papers, and I was like, Mom, I'm going. So my mother was actually worried about me, was like, where are you going? Mind you guys, I was 16 years old, very, very small. And that time I actually left. I left, I left and I went to other cities in Tanzania. So life was not that good, guys. Like, I don't know what to do, honestly. I don't know. So by that time I was like, okay, let me just keep going. Okay, but my grandmother, right, was already in another in another place, right? In a Malawi, right? It was in Malawi. So he actually heard me, I'm suffering, and he sent me some money. And also, I had some money. So I was like, what am I going to do? So I started going countries to countries, guys. That's when I start traveling country to country to actually seek somewhere where I'm going to get a refugee status. That's exactly what I was looking for now. So I went to Malawi. And after Malawi, I went to Mozambique. After Mozambique, I went to Zimbabwe. And after Zimbabwe, I went to South Africa, right? So when I go to South Africa and then I represent my stories, my papers, and they actually read everything, and it was like, oh, okay, so likely, guys, and I always feel like, by that time, mind you, I grew up in my whole family, like my grandmother, my sisters, my younger sister, my uncle. So I grew up in a Christian home, right? So because I'm actually a Jehovah's Witness, right? So I was actually like that good kid. You understand? So everyone, when they see me, they always be like, "Oh, that's a good kid." They're like, "Where's your parents?" But I didn't have parents that time. I was a hustler. I was already a hustler. You know, People are thinking like, "Oh, you should be at school." But me, I want money. Like I want to get cash. You know what I mean? So and yeah, likely, man, at the home affairs, right? At the home affairs, I met very good people, and they actually like processed my application. They was like, "Yo, we heard you, man. We hear your stories, and yeah, they actually grant me with the asylum seeker. They give me asylum seeker. You understand? So yeah, when I got asylum seeker, guys, and but life wasn't any better, guys. Life was just like a life, same stories, and there's a time where I felt bad. I felt like I don't know. I was confused with my whole life, right? Yeah, but likely I actually um it was a job that was happening or opening. It was Uber Eats, right? Uber Eats delivering food. And this okay, like they was actually looking for drivers at that time. And me, I actually knew how to drive, bike. You understand? Because back in the camp there is a bikes, and me, I was just like, I was stubborn, like, I knew how to ride the bikes very, very nice. I would ride the bikes, and stuff like that. And then I was like, yeah, I can work, I can be a bike rider. So I went through all the legal process and stuff like that. I did what they call it, and I started like doing. learning everything, like start learning, like they start teaching me how things works, what you need to be aware of, and what to pay attention, stuff like that, guys, so I start learning everything. So yeah, but and after like it was a few months, and then they said you are qualified to start working in Uber Eats. So that was my first ever job, Uber Eats, guys. you know I started working on the Uber Eats with a scooter. You know what I mean? Scooter, not a car. I was doing with scooter, like, if you are from Cape Town, because I'm in Cape Town. So if you're from Cape Town, or you are not from South Africa in general, then you know scooters, right? So I was one of those guys. I was one of those guys, and maybe you just saw me somewhere, but you never knew who is me. You know what I mean? So yeah, so I was one of those guys, man. Just like kind of like working, and I was actually working hard till the time I start feeling, because when you are working at Uber Eats, you deliver food to different places, right? So at that time we was delivering, we was even getting inside the house, was getting inside the apartments, So and I was working in Uber, I was working in Cape Town, and Cape Town, and a Century City, right? So I was actually working there, so and I seeing a lifestyle how people they are living, dude, and it's just something that inspired me, and I was like, nah, I think I'm doing something bad with my life. I'm in the wrong side of life. You understand? That's how I start feeling, like, oh, like, hey, why am I like, me? I'm going early in the morning, right? I'm going early in the morning, working, and I'm tired as hell, but I don't have money. And the way I'm sleeping, and my lifestyle is just like, it's crazy, right? But when I'm delivering these people food, they're actually living a good life, like, and they seems like they're not working at all. I'm curious to know what these people they're doing for a living, for sure, because I might be doing something wrong with my life. That's when I was like, I even went home, back home, like when I was home, I started like on my phone, like, um trying to see like, hey, how to make money or whatever, but I didn't get any clue, because that time I didn't know how to speak English, honestly. I didn't know how to speak English, so it was kind of hard. But I had this idea, and I was like, okay, what I can do now is to actually learn English. I'm gonna learn how to speak English, so that I can ask these people what they are doing for a living, because it seems like everyone is speaking English. So I have to learn how to speak English. The only language I know how to speak is Kiswahili. I only know how to speak Swahili, because my Swahili is more like a Tanzanian, because that's where I grew up, right? So I don't know how to speak French. I don't know how to speak Lingala, right? So the only language I know is Swahili, and then but everyone is actually speaking English. Understand? So I was like, so English is a big deal, man. English. I feel like English. That's where the money is, because everyone who's speaking Swahili, man, I'm not seeing anyone who's doing better around me. You know what I mean? So I was like, people that I'm seeing, those ones who are, don't get me wrong, there's Swahili people who are making money, like in it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but around me, no one. So I have to actually know English, so that I can ask those people who are actually working there. So I started going to YouTube. No, I started going to YouTube. I started finding teachers on YouTube, learning English from A to start speaking, man. You know what I mean? So as you can see, my English has improved. This is all from YouTube. I never been around people who speak English that much. Understand? So, and what happened was, one day I actually had to go and ask someone, right? So what do you do? I actually stopped a random person, because that's how my personality was, guys. I was just stopping. I stopped a white guy and asked like, "What do you do? And what can I do to be like you, to stop doing what I'm doing here? Because I'm doing Uber Eats, and I'm not getting anything, and I'm not getting any money. Like, I'm struggling still." And he was like, "Work hard." Da, 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 da. And he speak a lot of English that he left me. He left me. Honestly, I didn't understand the rest of the thing that he was actually talking. The only thing I heard it was work hard. The rest, I don't know. And then that's when I knew, like, oh, I still have a long way to go with my English. Yeah, yeah, I still have to work again on the English, because I don't understand what is happening. So I started actually like going deep in English, and likely the other day we was actually chilling in McDonald's, in a McDonald's, right? In a in a Cape Town, right? So in a Clove Street, if you know Clove and Long Street, right? Long Street at the end. That McDonald's, that's where I used to park there, right? So I used to park there a lot. And this guy, like shout out to Tanaka, man. This guy, he came to me said like, hey bro, you know people that are making money online, like young dudes like us, they are making money online, bro. And I was like, what? They are making money? Which money? Like where? And he said like, yo, bro, they are doing forex. Oh, and I was like, what is Forex like and how does it work? And Tanaka told me like, yo, it's online things. You just put your money. That's when I was like, I put my money. After all this, the story that I'm hearing, like people that are stealing people money online, bro, I'm good. I don't want to do that. I want to work like a real job where I'm gonna get money. That's how my mindset was. And I actually sabotaged that, and I was like, nah, I don't want to do that, bro. Like, I'm good, you know. Anything that has to me to put my card details, my bank details on the online, bro, I don't trust it. Because I even asked him like, who's your boss? So like, bro, there's no boss. And so who's responsible for your money, bro? Like, and that time I thought maybe I'm smart. I thought like, who's your boss? What if they took your money? Stuff like that. But like, it didn't end there. I actually went home and sleep, right? And then the other day I was there, and then one of my another guy that we was working with, um, who is his name? And I forgot his name. And a shout out to him. And he's from Tanzania, so he actually told me now the first person to talk about it in Swahili now because Tanaka, mind you, he was actually speaking English. So everyone who's gonna speak English, it was a big misunderstanding with me because I don't know how to speak English. So Tanaka, hey, those guys that was actually speaking Swahili, and that's when I was like, oh, okay. So and then they actually mentioned the same thing, forex, and that's when I was like, oh, so there's other people who speak Swahili who knows this. And then I asked him like, what is forex, bro? Just to elaborate, explain to me because it's my second time to hear this thing. And those guys, they actually explained it to me in Swahili, and I was like, "What, bro?" So there's a lot of money in it. It's like, yes, bro. And they actually have a meeting. That time there was a seminar going on in a Cape Town, and they actually say like, bro, you can actually get this link, register here, and then you're gonna go to the meeting, or people who are doing forex. You understand? And I was like, all right, bro. Say less. I had to take that link, fill up my details, blah, 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 blah. And they actually say, bro, they actually send me a seat number, blah, blah. I was like, I show them. They was like, yeah, bro, we're gonna go. You know what I mean? So yeah, the next day, the day the seminar were the webinar was happening. Hey, I had to actually put on some little clothes that I had, man. I was that little poor dude, no money whatsoever. The only thing I had was just my eyes and nose. You know what I mean? I had nothing to show for it. So yes, gang. So that's exactly what happened. And I actually went to this webinar. I went to the webinar. That's my first time, gang. Like I went to webinar. I'm seeing people, like just like people, man. That looks like money. Get my point? And I was like, damn, this is where I belong to. I think where I am, I'm in the wrong area. I'm not supposed to be there. I'm supposed to be here. So now, from now on, I need to find out how to make this money to live right like this. You know what I mean? Because I'm seeing people with a laptop, they actually like checking it. They're having nice phones, bro. My phone is how wide that time, bro. I'm even shy to actually put it up. Broken. The screen is broken and shit. Yeah, but I actually had some little confidence in me and feel like, okay, let me just get in the mix. So we started like a kind of like listening, and again they're explaining in English. So I'm trying to stay focused. I'm trying to stay focused in the English course, blah blah blah. But I could understand some words, but the other words I couldn't understand that much. Understand? So yeah, and I actually felt very, very good. I'm not gonna lie. So till that day, that's when I went back. When I went back, I thought maybe, yeah, I'm gonna make it out in this shit. I told myself that if these people are actually making it out, right? And I have brain and I always believe in myself. I am this genius person, right? I always know myself like, yo, if I put my all into something, and I'm gonna make it out. And this is worth to die for. If that's lifestyle, and I start watching people doing the same thing on the YouTube, I start seeing Sandy Lechezi, and I was inspired by Sandy Le. I was inspired by Swaggy C. I was inspired by Mamba FX. I was inspired by a lot of people. I was inspired by who's this guy like Jeremy Cash CEO. If you know, you know those guys from the United States. So I started watching those people, and also kind of like learning how to speak English but while learning forex, right? So I just fell in love with forex, guys. So since then, I actually start following the process to open a brokerage account, to do everything, right? So everything was actually uh I actually understand how to do everything, and yeah. So since then, guys, I started like doing Uber Eats and doing forex at the same time, So that's was just a story how I actually end up knowing forex, and since then I never looked back. Since then I never looked back again. So and then I actually quit Uber Eats and become a full-time forex trader. You understand? And that's my story. And I hope guys actually inspire someone out there. And if you are a forex trader, you want to do forex trading, man, it's worth it. I'm telling you, it's worth it. And the one thing I love about forex is just the freedom. You understand? I never thought in my life if I can be this free. I never thought in my life if I can actually be this person that I am today. And I'm so grateful. I'm thank God, for every opportunity that I've got, you know what I mean? So from people actually like help me in this journey, guys, it's just been amazing, you understand? So yeah, for now, as you can see, I just actually become a full-time forex trader. So, and if you're wondering like how, what did I do to actually become quit my job, right? Quit Uber Eats to actually become a full-time forex trader. I'm actually gonna post it, and I'm gonna do another video in the next explaining how I was able to actually quit, right? To quit Uber Eats to actually become a full-time forex trader, right? So because I didn't just quit overnight, guys. I did not quit overnight. It was a process into it, and it was sacrifice into it. And I did a lot of mistakes along the way that I'm actually gonna be showing you guys. I'm actually gonna tell you again, what to avoid if you wanna quit your 9 to 5 or any job that you're doing. You wanna quit it to another to become a full-time forex trader, guys. It is a lot to follow along the way, and the mistakes that I did, I will tell you guys so that you don't do the same thing. So that's just it, guys. I hope you guys know me a little bit. Now you know my story, where I'm from, how I grew up, and how I am. I'm so grateful, guys. Now I'm actually able to work anywhere in the world, wherever. I just needed my laptop. I need my phone. I'm able to travel. I've been traveling lately. You know what I mean? So now I'm able to travel. I'm able to do anything, guys. So that's just it, fam. That's just it. So in the next video, I'm actually gonna explain to you guys how I was able to quit uh, Uber Eats to actually become a full-time forex trader. And also what I'm doing, guys, what I did is I actually opened a public group, right? This, I'm not selling anything, I'm not selling any calls, I'm not selling any signal. My signal group, in fact, is free. All you have to do is just join it, click the link down below, go and join my VIP group for free, guys, and where I share analysis and actually everything, every trade that I take on my daily basis, I send it there and I share with people. People like people are supporting me. If you're supporting me here, guys, and you subscribe, why not showing love to you guys? That's why I actually open a VIP group. It's a VIP group, but it's free All you have to do is just click the link down below and go there and join it. And I'm actually sending signal every day, and in the days to come, I'm gonna be posting everything, guys. And I actually wanted to start documenting everything on YouTube so that you can actually follow up, and even myself in the future, I'm just gonna be looking back and see how far I came and everything. So yes, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. And yes, man. I hope I inspire someone out there, and I will see you again on next video. So, if you want to see more stories, if you want a more journey of me, make sure that you subscribe on this YouTube channel, and I will see you again on the next video.